Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I will be reviewing AETHER Beauty's eyeshadow formula, and I have a few of their products over here. So first off, I have the single shadow in the shade Rose Quartz, and then I have the Ametrine palette over here, which includes 4 beautiful mauvey purple shades. So if you want to see some swatches, how I achieved this eyeshadow look, and also hear my thoughts about this formula, then just stick around. So let's start out with some swatches. So first I have this cute little single shadow in the shade Rose Quartz. So let me just swatch this for you guys here. And I got this single shadow as part of a goodie bag from Credo Beauty. So they'll often have these deals where if you spend more than $125, you get a bag full of deluxe size samples plus full size samples. And so this guy was included in that. And this was what really first turned me on to AETHER Beauty as a brand. So you can see that it's just such a beautiful shade. So the shimmers are really finely milled, and it just swatches so beautifully. It's such a creamy emollient formula that is really, really easy to work with and just glides seamlessly on the lids. I became really interested in their brand and started paying more attention to their eyeshadows. And I never picked up one of their larger palettes because I found that none of the color stories really spoke to me. But a few months ago, when they came out with these cute little quads, I thought, okay, this is a time for me to go and buy some more AETHER Beauty. And this color story in particular really spoke to me because it was just much more sophisticated than some of their other color stories and just more kind of in my wheelhouse. So let me just swatch those for you guys. So these are the 4 shades finger swatched. And then here they are, arm swatched. And let me just say, AETHER Beauty is one of the brands that, for me, probably swatches the most beautifully. It's just so creamy. Like, just with barely putting your fingers into the pans, you get such a beautiful color payoff. And so this first color here is called Connection. And this is a mauvey lilac matte shade. And it's the only matte in the palette. Then you have here Copper Rose, which is very much as its name suggests. It's kind of a brown, coppery, pinky shade. And then here you have Rose Gold, which is a gorgeous pinky gold shade with a hint of bronze in it. And then finally you have Spiritual Realm, which is a much deeper, plummy brown shade. And this is in a satin finish. These two are more of a metallic finish, and again, this is a matte finish. And so you can create just such beautiful looks with this. And I feel like this color story of mauvey, pinky, taupey browns is kind of what I've been really gravitating towards this year. I feel like these are shades that on my lids look very neutral, but with like a little bit more pizzazz and glam to them than if I just did a straight up neutral look. So without further ado, let's dive into the eyeshadow look. So to start the look today, I'm gonna go in with this matte shade Connection on my Refer number 16 brush. And I'm going to just sweep this all over the crease area. And I think I picked up a little bit too much there. So this is a pretty intense initial shadow application, but let me just try to really blend this out. I forgot to mention this earlier, but I already have my Hourglass Veil Eye Primer on, which is a pretty heavy duty primer. So if you see a little catching there, I think that's more so because of this primer, which is pretty sticky, and not necessarily because of the shadow itself. Just building that up a little bit more. So now I'm gonna go in with my Wayne Goss number 4 into the deepest shade and just put this in the outer portion of the lid just to get a little bit more smoke into this look. And then I'm not gonna blend that out too much because I'm gonna go in now with that same brush and go into that copper shade, so the less deep shimmer, and just pull this throughout the crease area to blend Spiritual Realm into Connection. But I love how easily these shadows just blend into each other. They're so easy to work with, and considering this is not, like, this is probably something, this would probably count as high-end instead of luxury makeup, but the quality is really impeccable. Alrighty, so now I'm gonna go in with rose gold and just put that all over the blank part in the center of the lid, just to tie this whole look together. And I'm using my GSN 9 Chikuhodo brush for that. There we go. So I have all of the shades from the quad on my lids right now, but I do want to integrate this little single shadow. So I'm going to go in and just put some on my finger and just put this kind of in the center of the lid just to add a little bit more light there, since this is a slightly lighter shade. And then I'm going to go in with my Wayne Goss number 4 brush just to kind of blend that all in. So it shouldn't really look like there's a separate shade. It should just look like there's a tiny bit more dimension. And now, cleaning off my GSN 9 brush, I'm going to take a little bit of rose quartz and put that also in the inner corner of the eyes, just to bring a little bit more of that cool rose quartz look in there. There we go. So that is the lid done. Now I'm going to go in with my Esom G27 brush and go into connection and pull that all over the lower lash line. So there's connection. Using the same brush, I'm going to grab some of Spiritual Realm, which is the deepest shade, and just pull that on the outer portion of the lower lash line to add a bit more smoke. And then I'm gonna get some rose gold and put that on the inner 2/3. And just going briefly back into my GSN 9, I'm grabbing a tiny bit of rose quartz and just connecting it on the bottom. There we go. So that is the eyeshadow look done. I think this was super, super easy to achieve with these Aether Beauty shadows. They really blend like a dream. They are so, so creamy. There is no loss in quality by virtue of them being clean beauty. So I am a huge fan of their formula. So here we are with the completed makeup look. For today's video, I'm not going to go into how I did everything else on my face. If you're interested in that, you can check out my hits and misses from 2020 Clean Beauty, where I go through all of the products that I've put on my face today. But in case you're interested, I have the Black Sapphire, Jillian Dempsey Eye Kohl, the RMS Signature Set Pop Collection palette, and Ilia Super Serum Skin Tint on my skin, and the Kosas Wet Lip Oil and Fruit Juice. So that's kind of what I have on my face today. And again, you can check out that video if you want to actually see me apply them. But I wanted to go ahead now and talk about my overall impressions and thoughts about Aether Beauty's eyeshadows. So it's probably already really clear by now, but I am a huge, huge fan of this eyeshadow formula. And honestly, this was really eye-opening to me because oftentimes with clean beauty products, I assume they'll be less good than your standard beauty products because, you know, otherwise, why wouldn't everyone be doing clean beauty? But Aether really stood out to me from the time I tried this little single shadow here. It's one of the most creamy and easy to use formulas that I've used, full stop, including all of my high-end and luxury eyeshadows. And it does just have such a beautiful effect on the lids. Like, you can see the shimmers are really, really reflective, and the mattes just blend in such a buttery manner. I will say that if you are looking for something that is really, really sparkly and glittery, as far as I know, Aether doesn't necessarily have that kind of formula in their line. But if you're looking more so for shadows that are colorful but everyday in their finish, I think this brand is perfect and really easy to use, even if you're a beginner, even if you don't have a lot of great brushes or really sophisticated eyeshadow technique. As you probably saw from the swatches, these just apply in a really pigmented manner, super, super easily, but are also quite blendable. and also just blend with each other and layer on top of each other really well. So I would overall highly recommend their brand. And if you can find some of their palettes that really speak to you from a color story perspective, then I would recommend picking those up and trying out their formula. For me personally, so far my favorite release has definitely been the Ametrine palette, but I am really hoping that they'll come out with more color stories in 2021. And also I thought I would just mention as well that there's a lot of aspects of this brand that are quite appealing in addition to the actual eyeshadow formula. So for example, as you can see from this palette, they take environmentalism very seriously. So this whole palette is basically recyclable. In fact, they don't have a magnet, they don't have a mirror, and they have a little description here explaining that. Instead, they actually have this little hair tie to help close the palette. So while you're using the palette, you can use this to help secure it. And then once you're done, you can actually remove this from the cardboard packaging, use it as a hair tie, and then recycle everything else. I really appreciate that aspect of this brand. It's extremely thoughtful. And despite the fact that this is just a cardboard packaging, I think they've managed to make it still look pretty luxurious. So you can maybe see from this angle, the way this is shaped kind of in this prismatic manner looks like some pretty nice origami. Even though this is cardboard, I actually really appreciate how this packaging looks and feels. And then if you get their single shadows, it's not going to be as luxurious of experience, but again, this is in a totally recyclable package, so that's something that's very consistent throughout their brand. And also, if you are someone who's more interested in kind of the skincare elements of your makeup, they do use principally very natural ingredients and have a lot of nice oils in their formulas, and also incorporate a lot of crystals. So if you look at their website, you'll see a lot of their eyeshadows actually contain, say, like rose quartz or ruby or all of these other stones in them. For me personally, that's not something that I care a lot about in my makeup products. But if that's something that you're interested in, I think that can be a major selling point of this brand as well. For me personally, I'm mostly attracted to the formula and to some extent, you know, the packaging and environmental aspects of this. But I think there is just a lot of thoughtfulness that pervades this brand that really makes me want to support it and buy more of their products. So I think it's kind of an under the radar brand in that I don't hear a lot of folks talking about it or recommending their products, but I've really been loving it and look forward to trying more in 2021. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. Again, if you're interested in seeing how I got this whole look, then please check out my hits and misses of Clean Beauty 2020 video, which I'll also link down below. And if you have tried Aether Beauty or have some favorite products of theirs that you would recommend, please let me know because I'm always interested in learning more about this and other clean beauty brands. So thanks again so much for watching today's video. If you like this video, then please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye!